Sigmund Freud's psychosexual development has 5 stages. They are oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital stages. Before we go further into discussing what are those stages, there are some things that you must be clarified in order for you to understand fully what is psychosexual development. First, the term sexual is used by Freud to describe any pleasurable action. So, sexual sa kanya yun. So, you'll find out later on, they may be oral, kaya merong oral, anal, pero hindi ibig sabihin sex ang pinag-uusapan doon. Ibig sabihin, the part, for example, in the oral stage, the oral cavity is the source of libido or the source of energy where the pleasure comes from. So, another thing, the term libido is the pleasure, the desire, the pleasures that you want to experience. What else? We also have frustration, overindulgence, and fixation. Frustration is when a person has been stagnated on a certain level. Kasi yung itong stages, that's why it's stages, kasi it is believed, Freud believed that we went over these stages. We went through oral stage, and then anal stage, and then phallic stage, latency stage, and then eventually to the genital stage. So, the word frustration here means that the learner or the person is stuck in a certain stage and he did not know how to cope with that, or merong overindulgence. Ang overindulgence naman, masyado niyang na-enjoy yung pleasure doon sa stage na yon and hindi siya nakapag-move on. Nadala niya yon sa other stages, which result into fixation. Ang fixation is the theoretical notion that a person of the individual's libido has been permanently invested in a particular stage of his development. So, nadala niya, the fixation, nadala niya doon sa stage niya, sa adulting stage niya, yung stage niya, for example, nung 0 to 1 year old siya. Ganon. Ano pa? We also have erogenous zone. Yung erogenous zone is the zone where the pleasure comes from. For example, in the oral cavity, pwedeng sa lips yung kanyang erogenous zone. Sa anal cavity, of course, ang kanyang erogenous zone ay the anus, the anal cavity. So, I think we are ready. So, here are the 5 stages of psychosexual development by Sigmund Freud. So, first, we have the oral stage. Oral stage happens from 0 to 1 year old. In this first stage of personality development, the libido is centered on the mouth, on the baby's mouth. It gets much satisfaction from putting all sorts of things in his or her mouth to satisfy his or her libido. And sabi natin kanina, it is the demand of the id. Hindi niya alam yon. The pleasure, hindi niya alam. But he is enjoying on what he's doing. Pag nagsasak siya sa mama niya, or yung sinasak na yung kanyang fingers, yon. Now, what may be the fixation of this stage? Ang fixation, sabi natin kanina, yung mga hindi nakapag-move on or masyadong enjoy itong stage na to, na nadala nila yung libido, the pleasure that's from this stage to their next level. Ano yung fixation nila? Ang fixation sa oral stage, maybe yung mga taong mahilig mag-smoke because they enjoy putting something in their mouth and as if parang nagaganon sila. That is according to Freud. Next, we also have anal stage. Anal stage is happening around 1 to 3 of the person. The libido now becomes focused on the anus, syempre, anal stage, and the child derives great pleasure from defecating. Ine-enjoy nila ang pagpupo. Maybe if you have a child or if you have nieces or nephews around you, you can observe them, especially the 1 to 3 year olds. You can observe them. They really much enjoy doing nagaganyan pag tumatay sila. And they find pleasure in it, really. Now, what is the frustration or the fixation on this stage? There are two kinds. Iba pala yung ganun. There are two kinds. So, for the parents who are strict with potty training, talagang sabi nila, pag natatay ka, pumunta ka ng CR. And yung mga ganun, ang parents, the child when they grow up they become responsible of their wastes. They become responsible of their things. They become tidy of everything. They become neat in everything. While parents who do not strict, who just pinababayaan lang yung anak nila sa kung saan ini-enjoy yung kanyang pagpupo. The result, the fixation that happens in this person is pwedeng hindi sila neat sa mga gamit nila, or ito yung mga learners na kapag tumanda sila, meron tayong tinatawag na taklesa, right? They cannot keep their things tidy, even their secrets. They clean their dirty linens on public. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Talakera ba? Magulo. So yun. I hope you're learning so far. Next we have the Phallic Stage. The Phallic Stage happens from 3 to 5 years of age. Now, the Phallic Stage is the stage where the genitals is the center of the libido or the pleasure in both sexes. So alam na nila, parang in 3 to 5 or 6 years, the child seems to know that their genital is that of a male or their genital is that of a female. And alam na nila na nagiging sensitive na yung kanilang pakiramdam kapag nahahawakan yung kanilang mga genitals. Or this is also the stage where the boys have castration anxiety. So alam na nila na yung kanilang ari is that of lalaki, and alam na nilang hawak-hawakan, and as if they already know how to masturbate. You should know that, teachers. They already know how to well, maybe I do not know if they already know how to masturbate, but they already know that when they touch their genitals, they feel pleasure. That is why their genitals become very important to them, to the point that boys would be afraid of castration. Diba? We Ilocanos, meron tayong tinatawag na may mga panakot tayo sa mga batang lalaki kapag ayaw nilang, usually kasi pag 3 to 5 or 6 years old, minsan may mga bata na ayaw, especially sa mga lalaki, nagbe-brief lang yung mga yan. Or worse, ayaw talaga nilang mag-undis. So, ang panakot ng mga magulang, we Ilocanos, we have an expression na pagsapin ka, kahit mo kapunan ka. So, kapunan is castration. Or, yung, ang tawag na, pagkakat nung ari ng lalaki. I do not know if castration is, I think castration is kapun talaga. So, may mga ganun na niloloko, kapunan ka, nuhan ka agsapin. Meaning, I will castrate you if you not wear your undies. So, in turn yung kanilang pag natakot sila sa ganon, mag-aandi sila. In this level also, meron tayong tinatawag na penis envy for the girls, and ano yung tawag dun sa mga lalaki? In this stage, we have the Electra complex and the Oedipus complex. Yung Oedipus complex is that of the boys. Yung Oedipus complex happens when yung batang lalaki is attached to the mother. Kasi nakikita niya yung attachment ng father niya doon sa nanay niya. And he wishes that he would become attached to the mother too, as attached as the father. So, nandun yung ginagaya niya yung ginagawa ng tatay niya, yung mga actuations ng tatay niya. Minsan, makikita niyo kung nagiinom yung tatay, kukuha din niya ng baso tapos sasabihin din niya, tagay, kung nagtatagay yung tatay. Or, kung mahilig manood ng TV si tatay, talagang tutularan niya si tatay kung anong nakikita niya. 3 to 5 or 6 years old. Yung babae naman, we have Electra complex. Nakikita niya rin yung attachment ng nanay doon sa tatay. And she wants to be attached to the father like the attachment of the father to that of the nanay. Kaya ang ginagawa niya minsan, parang ginagaya niya rin yung nanay niya, or sometimes merong nangyayari na penis envy nga. Merong penis envy. Kung naka-encounter na kayo, may mga situations where the 6-year-olds or the 5-year-olds are still confused with their genitals, especially kung mag-isa lang siyang babae. Meron akong natatandaan na kaklase dati. She was 5 or 6-year-old noon. Nung dinidiscuss namin to kasi she was an example. Sabi niya, when she was 5-year-old, lahat kasi ng dalawa lang silang pagkapatid, and lahat ng kalaro niya is lalaki. Akala niya lalaki siya. So, when his age mates, his playmates went to an albularyo for anong tawag doon? Yung circumcision. For circumcision, humingi din siya sa nanay niya ng pera. Sabi na niya, aanhin daw yung pera. Siyempre, sabi niya, mapanakagpahugit or I'll go for a circumcision. So, ganon. May nalilito ang mga babae. And that is the Phallic Stage. Ano naman ang fixation dito sa stage na to? The fixation is when the child did not manage to make a list, to alisin yung kanyang pag-masturbate. Take note, nadadala niya po sa paglaki. So, yun, that is one of the dangers of this stage kapag hindi na-overcome yung pleasure nila doon sa kanila, sa baba. Ayun, nadadali nila paglaki. And then, we have the latency stage. The latency, Latent is called, by the way, phallic means yung shape ng penis. And then latency stage is from 5 or 6 years to puberty. Latent means hidden. So on this stage from 5 or 6 to puberty, parang halos walang nangyayari dito. No further psychosexual development takes place during this stage. The libido is dormant. So, natutulog yung libido, yung pleasurable na pleasure dugo ng learner on this stage. So, it is dormant. Freud thought that most sexual impulses are repressed during latent stage and sexual energy can be sublimated towards schoolwork, hobbies, and friendship. So, ito siguro yung pinaka-active na buhay ng mga learners. That's why nakakalimutan nila yung pleasure principle nila. And then the last is the genital stage. Ang genital stage is from puberty to adult. In the genital stage, it is the time of adolescent sexual experimentation, the successful resolution of which is setting down in a loving one-to-one relationship with another person in our 20s. So in this genital stage, alam na natin na babae tayo or lalaki tayo or bading tayo or tomboy tayo, and we already begin settling for a one-to-one relationship. One-to-one na ang tawag natin ngayon, hindi na other sex relationship. Baka kagalitan tayo ng mga LGBTQ. Peace. So, anong nangyayari sa genital stage? For Freud, the proper outlet of the sexual instinct in adults was through heterosexual intercourse. Fixation and conflict may prevent this, with the consequence that sexual perversions may develop. For example, fixation at the oral stage may result in a person gaining sexual pleasure primarily from kissing and oral sex rather than sexual intercourse. So, yung mga fixation na nadala nila for example, from oral stage to anal stage, pwede nilang dalhin sa genital stage. Take note, ang age ng genital stage is from puberty to adult. So, for example, yung mga hindi naka-move on sa oral stage, mas gusto nila yung open tayo dito ha, because we are future teachers, so you must know this. For example, yung mga fixation nila sa oral stage na nadala nila sa genital stage, mas gusto nila yung oral sex kaysa sa totoong sexual intercourse that is designed by God. Pwede rin yung mga nasa anal stage na hindi nagbago. I mean, hindi na-overcome yung fixation nila on that stage. Pwede nilang dalhin yun sa genital stage. That's why may mga tao na nag-experiment with sexual intercourse through the anus. Gosh, I cannot. So, that is the psychosexual development by Sigmund Freud. I hope you have learned something from this class, and I hope you have really learned, and I hope you will put this not only in your minds but in your third ear, 1, 2, 3, which is between your H and T. It's your heart. God bless you. Good night. Good morning. Good day.